All right. Back-to-back trash. Candace Owens shares her thoughts about the 18-year-old shooter, Salvador Ramos, who shot and killed 19 students and two teachers in Texas yesterday. Owens tweeted, an adult man that wants to dress up like a female is a glaring symbol of mental disease. A society driven by cowardice prevents this topic from being discussed honestly and openly. All of our children are at risk because we refuse to acknowledge and instead encourage mental illness. Now, she continued, what drives an 18-year-old to murder innocent children? I don't know. But judging by the photos of him cross-dressing, we can assume there were plenty of signs that he was mentally disturbed and abused by adults in his life. Societal cowardice ignored those signs. What are your thoughts on Candace Owens' tweets? Q, I want to go to you first on this. What do you think about her saying that him cross-dressing, means that pretty much he's mentally ill?
Let me tell you something. If a truck ran over Candace Owens today or tomorrow, I probably would throw a parade and celebration. I can't stand that wench. I really can't. And this is just the most, in my opinion, it's that conservative fear-mongering, drawing the correlation, connecting dots that don't need to be connected. Him cross-dressing, dressing differently, dressing non-binary has absolutely nothing to do with him being abused by adults in his past, nor is that any indication of any type of mental illness. I think it's more mentally ill the fact that she is able to connect dots that don't need to be connected and actually believe the crap that's coming out of his head. Now, there may have been a lot of other and here's the other thing, and I was talking to a friend about this today. You can't predict this type of behavior in people, okay? We don't know where the next mass shooting is going to be, whether it's going to be a mosque, a grocery store, or a subway station, and we don't know who the next person it is to do it. Every mentally ill person is not going to go shoot up a dog on school. So Candace Owens, please go find you something constructive to do.
Before we go to Al, I want to point something out, and Al, maybe you'll comment on this. It's funny she chose to speak on that one, but where was this issue when the 10 Black people in the grocery store were gunned down? Where was this theory? Because it's basically two of the same kinds of crime. One was with kids, one was random Black folks targeted. So where's the mental illness argument and tying it to cross-dressing there? Shut up, Candace Owens.
And now is not the time to politicize either of these tragedies. Do not use these tragedies to push agendas. It's just not right, and it's disrespectful to the lives and memories of the people who were lost in these situations.
Al, what do you think about this?
I got to agree with the two of you. I mean, I feel like just when you thought Candace Owens couldn't get any crazier, she steps up and wins the race again. I think it's sick. I think it's sick on many different levels. I think it's sick that she's going to call cross-dressing or insinuating that homosexuality or being transgender is a mental disease, because it's not. I mean, it was declassified as a mental disease back in the 70s. So are you still living in the 70s, Candace, with your right-wing thoughts? I mean, I just find it so sad with everything else that she could be using that platform and this incident that she's going to talk about how the person was dressed and use that as a mental disease and make that the reason why. I just think this is horrible.
I'll agree. These mass shooters do have something wrong with them mentally, but let's not tie it into cross-dressing and sexuality and how you identify. That's where I have a problem. Of course, something's wrong with both of these men. And throwing Candace Owens on top of that, because what drives you, sister, to constantly jump on any kind of story that paints Black people or minorities in a bad light, or the LGBTQ community? You cannot wait to shuck and jive and dance and tap dance for massa, to get masses pat on the head. It's so obvious. It's so irritating that you built your brand on this. But I do know that there's a big check for Black people that choose to speak out like this against their people. And it's very profitable. There's not as much profit on the other side. But what you're doing now, and I hope you can sleep well at night, because all you do is put fuel on the fire every single time something like this happens. You never offer any comforting words. And it sucks because you're articulate. So you sound like, oh, she's making sense. But really, you're just a raggedy bitch.
Yep.
That's what you are.
And you know, it's funny because we live in a world now where people are so unhinged that rhetoric like that can lead to more hate crimes.
And it will.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
She has way too many people following her to be that socially irresponsible to draw that parallel when we already have the community under attack. Like, knock it off. And it's so obvious. It's such a clout thing for the right wing.
And I'm going to tell y'all something, and I've already made this perfectly clear. If that orange-faced bastard runs for president again this go around, emotionally, I don't have it in me to stay in this country. Facts. I thank the Lord, knock on wood, that I am able to earn my income over the internet. Mm-hmm. I am out.
I'm right behind you. And, you know, he didn't have a great showing last night. All the candidates he backed in the Georgia primaries, they all took except one. They all lost. So Georgia did reject Trump's vengeance tour that he was on. So that's a good sign. Maybe there's like some signs of hope. You know, Georgia's okay. You're not failing us right now.